A seeker is somebody who has realized that currently his experience of the world is currently miserable. He is in pain, that's all. And he wants to know how this pain can be permanently removed. Is there any permanent solution? Everybody is trying to alleviate pain, everybody is trying to increase happiness, there is no doubt. In our own way we are trying to do it. But nobody has found a sustainable and permanent solution to it. So a seeker, a spiritual seeker is somebody who is saturated with all the worldly means to resolve pain, and he is trying to find out a permanent solution. Such a person's his primary focus should be that, to remove the cause of that pain or that cause of that suffering. His focus should not be on all the secondary aspects. Buddha gave a very nice example for this. Once in his Sangha, in his monastery, one of the bhikshus, one of the monks came to him and he complained. He said that I joined your Sangha thinking that you know what the world is about, but you are not telling us anything. You are not telling us anything about what will happen after enlightenment, whether I will become big or small, or whether universe is finite or infinite, whether there is God or not. You are not telling us anything. Then Buddha asked him simply this question. Now suppose somebody has shot an arrow to you. Somebody has shot an arrow and the arrow is stuck to your body. You are in pain. What will be your primary focus? To somehow remove the arrow. Will your primary focus be what will happen after you remove the arrow? Will you start questioning, who shot the arrow? I want to know. Only then remove the arrow. I want to know the address of the person who shot the arrow. I want to know the name of that person. I want to know why he shot. And I want to know what will happen to me. What will I become better if I remove this arrow? If you demand answers for these questions, instead of simply removing the arrow, you will be an idiot. I mean, it's an idiotic thing to do. People have these questions. About God and all these things. If God is perfect, immutable, eternal, why did He create the world? It is none of your business. Now you are in pain, you relieve your pain. That's all. Why did this begin? Why did the suffering begin? Why did I come on this planet? These questions will not give you anything. They will go into logical arguments. Okay, fine. It will become metaphysics. But this is a person who is shot by an arrow will not ask such questions. So if you really become sensitive, you will see that currently you are having friction with every small thing in your life. There is friction in every small thing. If you become more and more sensitive, you start noticing that even a small conversation with another person is happening with some friction. It is not happening with complete ease. You are not sitting with complete ease. You are not walking with complete ease. There is some inherent, very deep friction in you, in the way you are living. So the primary purpose of a seeker is to alleviate that friction. That is it. And if you have not noticed this, all the systems of philosophy, I don't know about many other religions, but many systems of philosophy, in yoga philosophy also, and many of the prominent scriptures, Buddha's philosophy also, they start by acknowledging suffering. They start by strongly acknowledging suffering. It will look like pessimistic to begin with. Buddha's first utterance was that the existence of suffering is the first truth. You have to necessarily acknowledge that. If you say, no, life is beautiful, I am happy, there is no spirituality. If you directly utter somebody else's conclusion, see, Buddha can say life is beautiful because he went through a process. Initially, he was miserable. If you read his story, when he was Siddhartha, he was an utterly miserable man. He could not find peace with anything. He found tremendous friction with every silly thing. And he could not lead a normal life anymore. Therefore, he wanted a permanent solution for suffering. Similarly, yoga philosophy speaks in that 4 chapters of Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Half chapter describes suffering. The first half of the second chapter describes suffering. If you see Bhagavad Gita, it starts with Arjuna suffering. There is another text called Yoga Vasishtha. It is written. It's a conversation between Rama when he was a boy and a rishi, a seer, Vasishtha. There Rama goes into depression, dejection. As a boy, he sees that there is no meaning in the world, everything is miserable. Nothing gives him a permanent joy. So he goes into something, in Sanskrit we call it as Vairagya. You go into saturation, you feel saturated by the world. You see no permanent happiness in this. You see it, not because others are saying. You see it yourself. And because of that you seek a permanent solution. Only then spirituality begins. Such people will not spend time in logical arguments. Their only goal will be how to find a solution to this problem. They will not go into metaphysical speculations about soul or God or different worlds. Whether it is true or not is irrelevant. I am not saying it is false. I am saying it is irrelevant. For a seeker it is irrelevant. Whether there is heaven or not, whether there is hell or not, whether you will merge with God, whether you will take birth again or not, all these things are irrelevant for a real seeker. Because his primary goal is to find that complete ease with existence, with everything in existence.